Hello and welcome back everyone. In today's video we're just going to continue working on our TRON inspired light runner design that we've been working on for some time now. Today we're again just going to continue adding a couple of details. This as usual I will just give you a summary of what we will do. So we will be adding this notch here, this little indent kind of notch thing going on. We'll add these little things here that I think are like latches to like open the hood, nose, bonnet, whatever. I know it's not really functional in a digital world. Everything is rendered, right? Just falls out of your baton or something. Maybe light runners don't do that. I don't know. Light cycles, yes. Light runners, I don't know. So I'll show you how I do that. I'll show you how I added these little triangular cutouts. Yeah, let's call them cutouts. I will show you how I add this little gutter system over here. It's a geometry node setup, so we'll be doing something a little bit new. That'll be fun. More notches on the roof line. I will also show you how I made this component here. I guess we can call it a firewall. Also doesn't make sense in the digital world, but like it adds a good kind of detail to it. So yeah, we'll do that. And then similar to the front, we'll add another latch looking detail over here, and that is where we will actually stop the video. So yeah, let's get started, right? Yeah, let's go. Alright, so we're gonna start by chopping this into 3 sections, but in order to do that we have to apply the subdivision surface before doing anything else. It just works better that way. So I'm gonna start by doing that. So this is our main this is our main section. I'm gonna start applying. It helps to have like separate versions for every time you're doing something destructive. That's what I do. So in this file v02, this is where I start sort of doing things that are kind of irreversible. So it's always good to have like a checkpoint file stored that just has your previous version, so that you can just like sort of go backwards if you ever need to. So I will start by applying this mirror modifier, and I will apply this subdivision surface. Once that's done, I will now add, make sure our cursors are right in the middle over here. I will add a plane. I will rotate it along the Y like that. I'm gonna scale it so it just covers the entire body. Make sure it's still in the middle and just go down. That's good. Now just set it up wherever I want. So I think I want to cut it around there, I think. So I'm gonna do that. I'm going to go into edit mode, select that, and then just do an extrude along the X. Is that the Z? Why is that? Just make it something really narrow, nothing too crazy. Don't want it to be too obvious. Do that. So now at the top of this I'm gonna add another boolean way up at the top. This is where things will become a little bit, yeah. So the reason why I want to separate, maybe I didn't explain this in previous, if I'm repeating myself it's just because I haven't planned out the video thoroughly, but like basically because these are not the only booleans I'm going to be using for this project. I'll be adding like a lot more, and it's going to become really slow and expensive for my PC, for your PC probably as well, if you're trying to do all those booleans on one large complex shape. So we're gonna like try and literally separate them into like components, so that each component only needs to run essentially a third of the boolean operations, and that just really makes things not 3 times faster, but like exponentially faster. So that's why we're doing this. We're just really going to like separate things out. Yeah, so we have this. I'm not really going to give it a name because it's not really going to stay in here for too long. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to move this into the booleans, and I want to see what we're left with. We're left with a nice clean cut. Now that we have that, I'm going to apply this boolean, right? So it's at the top, so it doesn't really affect everything at the bottom. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to apply this. Okay, when that's done, I can then come into tab edit mode, select this, Control L, select. So that just selects the component. Control L helps you do that. And I'm going to do P selection. So this is like, this breaks it into two separate meshes. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to tab back out, and now we have two different pieces. As you can see, we have this one, which is the mother where we started from, and the piece that we just like separated out. I will call this, I will now start renaming this. I'll call this the nose component, and I will call this the I'll call this the monocoque. Let's call this one the monocoque component. Monocoque. I think this is how it's spelled. Monocoque component. Okay. So we'll do that. We're gonna reuse this boolean, but I think I'm gonna make it actually we'll just leave it there. But we've already applied it, so we don't really need it to stay there. So I'll just recycle it. Why the hell not? I'll move it somewhere over there. Actually, let me delete this because I want to do something a little bit different for this guy. So I'll delete him. I will add a... If I could add a line, I would, but like, let's start with a plane. I can add a line, I prefer not to. I don't know why. Let's do that. Let's go into edit mode. I only want a line because I want to just carve something out first. Vertices, let's do that. Object set origin to geometry. I just want it to be really nice and centralized. Okay. Let's go into tab. Let's do this and subdivide. Okay, so now we have, it's hard to see, but there's a vertex there. I'll move it a little bit to the top. I will subdivide this part as well. Subdivide. And I'll move this guy to the top a little bit more. You'll see what I'm coming at in just a second. I'll grab this and I'll just move it a little bit to the back. Beveling things. It just helps. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Right? Okay, now we're going to start adding a few more Boolean operations onto our speed shape here, just to give it like more details and stuff like that. One of the things I really kind of want to do for this front section is have like a sci-fi set of triangular indents in here. Yeah, something like that. So let's kind of work on that. I will start with a circle. I will start with a circle. I will give it 3 vertices. I'll give it 3 vertices. And that's like a good way, that's already a good place to start. Scale that down, I don't need it to be so huge. Scale it down, RX 90, so that we're working sort of around here. I think I want it to, I don't want it to be in this region, I want it to be just sort of there. Because I want this to feel more like a solid, hang on, let me just stop that. I want this to feel like a really strong looking stump kind of thing, like it's ready to ram into things and it's ready to handle ramming into those things. So I want it to look very, very solid. If we start making like indents and stuff, it just makes it look like, oh, these regions are like meant for like weight reduction, but also it's supposed to have structural integrity. I'm talking about like trusses, you know, but I still want the front to look like a heavyweight, like, you know, like a stump, like a hard solid stump. So that's why I want to put these triangles in this region here. Let's go into X-ray mode. I think I want to start this way. I will move it in there. I think go into tab mode, go into edit mode, Control Shift B. I want to bevel these. We'll do that. We're going to select all of them and we're going to do Shift D X, so that duplicates it and moves it, and I'll just do an R180. Okay, I forgot about that. Okay, that's fine. Let's apply this, and then I'll also apply the rotation so that I can now add an array and just move it directly along the X and have it be. This is the little structure that we will be forming. Now we're gonna just go into edit mode. We're gonna fill. I think you're gonna have to fill them one at a time. So Control L fill, Control L fill. We'll do that. I will add a shrink wrap. I'm not sure if this will work as I expect, but like, oh, I can't see it now. Okay, let's move it close to the surface. I will have it try and snap to this nose component. That's gonna have it just like sit flush. Do I want to do it first? No, I want to do it after, which means I should apply this, and then I should also apply this. Now it's like really flush. Then an easier thing to do is to just add a solidify on this. I'll add a solidify. I can take it in the other direction. I'm not sure I like that. I want it to be maybe, yeah, I think it's fine. We'll leave it like that. Once that's done, I want to move it out a little so it has a little bit of, like, you can see it. I'm going to move this now into the boolean section, and then on top of this I will add another boolean, and I will subtract that thing, this thing. Yeah. Now if I hide my booleans, what we're left with, oh, we should shade smooth. Okay, shade auto smooth, and then take this and shade auto smooth. Yeah, that worked better. Okay, cool. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Let's have a look. Yeah, very subtle little detail, adds a lot, I think. Okay, next up I want to add like some notches around here. Nothing obvious. I want it to be very, very subtle, kind of. Although I'm not sure how subtle. We'll see how it goes. So I will add a. Actually, you know what? I will just recycle some things. I'll grab this guy. Shift DX. I'll just move it over. I do not want it to mirror. I do want it to smooth. Where is my axis? Where's my axis? There. Let's do that. Grab this guy. Object snap. Selection to cursor. So I know it's like right in the middle now. R90. I want it to be vertical. And now I can just like sort of start adjusting it to the way I want. I don't really want these parts. I'll just delete those. What we're left with, I should set origin to geometry center. Okay, now I can like start adjusting it. So what I'm trying to form is just something like an element here. I don't know if I wanted to cut over into that side, because I might add something there as well, which might not. Okay, I'll grab these guys and just drag it forward. We'll do that. Gotta bring it down somewhere like so. I'm still thinking while I'm building this, by the way. It's not like I know what I want exactly. I may want to actually have it sit flush on this body. Okay, so I was gonna try and just run a boolean on this, but the issue with that is it's not gonna form a boolean that follows the curvature of that nose, and I kind of want that to happen. But the other issue is because I'm sort of overlapping across two different components, it becomes a little bit of an issue. So I am going to separate this into two parts. I will grab my knife tool, or easier, I'll just subdivide these. That was even better. Okay, worked even better than I expected. I'll move this over to this side. Doesn't need to be exact because I'm going to separate them anyways, and it's going to misbehave. It's going to misbehave anyways. So let's just do this P selection, and that separates it into two parts. Right now I'm going to take this guy. I will subdivide these guys a bunch because I wanted to have enough resolution so that it like snaps. When we use the shrink wrap modifier, it should have the ability to like snap onto. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do that. Subdivide these. Move this over to this section because this part won't really have much. It's pretty flat on this side, right? So it doesn't really need much, but these areas might need a lot more. So I'll select these, I will subdivide, and I can say how much I want to subdivide them by. I think this is sufficient resolution. I will do that. I will apply a shrink wrap modifier, and I will ask it to, let's move it closer down first. I will ask it to snap onto this guy. We'll see how that performs. It performs not so bad. Yeah, that's good. I will apply it because I don't want it to mess around while I'm working. I don't want it to move around while I'm working. I'll move it upwards a little bit. Go into edit mode, 3 all, extrude along the Z, just move it down a bit. Oh, actually no, I don't want to extrude. I want to inset. So hang on, I'm going to inset this. Perfect. A bit more? Maybe a bit more, yeah. Something like this. Yeah, I will get rid of this section, and I will try and flatten this section here. Try and flatten that. Scale in all but the y-axis. Yeah, that works. I will also grab this and sort of move it. Let me see. What happens if I do GG? Okay, that's perfect. I want to just extend it a little bit beyond, so that we don't run into issues. So that's done. Now I will just select these. Okay. I'm trying a new shortcut, but I don't think it worked as I expected. I think Control will handle it. Yeah, okay. G, Z, and then I'll just also select this entire loop and fill that up. We'll add one more. Boolean. I will name it front nose. Oh, let's call it nose notch. Let's call it a notch. I need to see my booleans and click on it. Okay, that looks better now. So this is what we have, looking real clean. I'm actually considering not following through on the other side because I kind of like how it just like, you know, there's a dead stop. I'm kind of digging that. I think it's cool. I'll just do the same thing. I'll duplicate this guy, Shift D, Z, move it towards the top. Don't need the mirror. Don't need half of it. Object set origin to geometry. Let's set that up. Let me select my axis, move my cursor there so that I can snap this object snap selection to a cursor so that I know it's like perfectly aligned in the middle. RX90, we're just aligning everything. Move it along only the x-axis. I believe I want it to be bigger. Median point. Make it about this big, about that big. Yeah. Let's pull it back. GX. I want it to go all the way back, but maybe not all the, not so much. This doesn't feel like it's in the middle, but I know it is, which is odd. Okay, so we'll do that. I'll select these guys. I will subdivide twice because I want to move one of these guys all the way to the back there. I'll move one of these guys all the way to the front there. I think that's good. I'm gonna add some loop cuts here. Okay, I'm gonna move it down to somewhere like there. Yep, so now when we edit it, we can just make sure that everything is happening at the same level. We just move it along the Z axis Let's move it along the Z. Let's select this guy all the way to this guy. I think you have to hit control, sorry. Control this guy. Then I'll hit shift this guy and shift control this guy, and then I can do bridge edge loops. Select these guys and select those guys, fill that up. I will zoom, will work my way to the back there. Select the, oh okay, now works. Okay, we still need to separate these into two separate things, so I will just have my mode selected, piece selection, that separates it. That is good. I will now add a boolean on my monocoque, and I think it works better with fast, so I'll do that. Stick that there, do a quick check to see if that worked as expected. Yep, that looks good. We'll add a boolean. I need to re-enable these parts. Select this, and before I change it to fast, I want to make sure it, yeah, okay, so it doesn't actually work. Oh shit, what's this? It is misbehaving. Why? Hang on. Why is that misbehaving? Is it not cutting through properly? Hang on. It is cutting through properly. What's the issue? Is it this area? Is this part fucking us up? Because if it is, it's just as easy as moving it a little bit forward and then trying again. Boolean. Let's cut it. Okay, now it looks like it worked. Okay. Fair enough, that's fine. No biggie. Sometimes the issue with booleans is like if there's an edge on one of your booleans is an edge and it's like aligning, like almost just very barely aligning. Let me see if I can do this to the camera. If they're aligning just almost out of sync, then it kind of like messes up. But if you use one and sort of go beyond the limits, it's like a safer way to do things. So make sure your booleans are, if they're trying to cut out of the body, then make sure the boolean itself extends beyond the body that you're trying to cut from. So that's just a small little tip. So this is what we have. I think there are a few more things I would like to add. So I want to add something that's a little bit weird, but I think it adds like significant detail to it. I want to add like a gutter, you know, for like rainwater. I want to add like a gutter thing over here, and I want to do it in a slightly different way because I want it to kind of follow the curvature that it has going on here. We're going to use geometry nodes to do that, so you'll see what I mean. It's really cool. I will grab, because I want the thing to follow a curvature like this, I'm going to borrow the curvature from this section, so I'll just tab into edit mode. Let's do that. Control. Let's not go all the way. Yeah, let's do it until there, right? Anyway, let's see. We will see. Shift D X. Move it forward. I will select parent, so move it out. Are we still in edit mode? Yes, we are. So now we have this separate piece here. I will add a mirror. Mirror. What? What's this? Add modifier. Mirror. Go off to the Y like this. Merge them. Apply it because I do want it to be a single item. And there we go. We have a curve that sort of aligns with the visor itself. And now let's move over to geometry nodes. Before we do that, I will need a version of this, so I will also recycle this section. Shift easy. I don't need the mirror. I don't need it to be so huge. Object set origin to geometry. No, make it small. Okay. RX90. Let's apply that to rotation. Okay, so we will sample this item. I think move this into something I called sources. Yeah, maybe, yeah, okay, can I just check all the vertices on this? Okay, that looks fine. Okay, moving on to geometry nodes. Oh shit, what is all this? What? I don't need all this. Why is it? Okay. Isn't there supposed to be a geometry node set up here? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna grab this. I will shift a mesh to curve, do that. I'll instance on points, I believe. No, I think I want to do resample. Put that in there. I want to make sure I have like 10 instances. This is going to give us like, let's see, instance on points, I believe. Instance on points. We'll do that. I will drag this out and I will select an object, right? And what's gonna happen now, by the way, I need to see these things a little bit better. Matcap, cavity. Do this and where are my sources? Where is this thing? Oh, it's all the way up there. Okay. Oh no, I lost this. Fuck. Visor. Just a second. Because I kind of lost the thing. I can't see it. Okay, this is the thing we're working with. Okay, so that's fine. What I will do is I'll put this back in there, and I will select this item here, and that's what it gives us, as you can see. I can set the scale. Hang on, can I do a vector? I don't know. I can do value. Right, and I can set this to 1. 1, and I believe I can set this all there, and that lets me control everything to do this, I think. Yeah, and obviously it needs a little more density, so that's why this part is really great. We'll do that. Layout mode, we no longer need to see our sources. Now I will add a boolean on this. What does this one do? Oh, it's the roof. Okay, roof notch. Let's name our things. Roof notch. Okay, now I will add another one, boolean. I'll call it gutter. I will select this stuff and I will move this into the booleans. And now let's call it gutter. If I hide my booleans, it didn't work. What if you change it to fast? No, it also didn't work. Why the hell not? Did we not? What? Why not? Maybe we need to realize these instances. Hang on. I think we need to realize instances. Let's do that. Now if we hide, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Let's take a look and see how it looks with shadows and lighting. So subtle. Maybe it's not that subtle, but whatever. Yeah, cool. Okay, I want to add a few more details. I'm gonna add another sort of notch along here, a short one, and I'm also going to like have it sort of have some lighting on it, but this one's gonna be a little bit different. So I'll show you what we're up to at the moment. Same thing. I'm just gonna borrow stuff from the, you know what, let's borrow it from the sources. I think this might be easier. Shift D X. I'll move it into the booleans because it's going to work as a boolean. So we have that, same as before. I don't really need everything else, so I'll just delete everything else. Object, set origin to geometry, so it's nice and centered. Select these two guys and subdivide them, because I need it just to have some resolution so that it just conforms nicely. Let's add a bit more. Scale X, make them big. Whoa. Okay, scale X. Let's do that. Control R. Control R. Okay, it's good. Okay. Let's position ourselves where we want. I think that's where I want it to be. No, maybe not. Maybe somewhere like here, actually. Yeah, something like that I think is good. Maybe further down, but make it smaller. Not smaller, but also make it longer. Okay, I'll grab these guys. GX. I think something like this. Yes. 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 So we'll do that. I will also do the following. So I'm gonna form something like a ring. You'll see what I mean. I hope it works as I expect. It probably won't, but like, let's see. Inset, we'll do this. I'll select this guy and just shorten it like so. Delete these faces. 3, all. Select all of these. Extrude Z. Yeah, let's do something like this. I'm not interested in the notch itself. I'm interested in more in having like a surface. Like, I'm interested more in having a leftover surface. This might not work as expected. Actually, it should. It will. Let's flip this over onto the other side as well. So mirror. Let's send it over. Don't need it to merge all across the axis. So now it's on both sides. Now we'll come here, add a boolean, and we will subtract this guy. And if I move this into the booleans and hide them, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay. But let's just have a quick look at, yeah, look at that. That's lovely. I want to commit to this, so I will apply this. It's also one of I can't okay, then move it to the top. Okay, now apply it. Okay, now why did I commit to that? So that I can actually work on some of these faces. So for example, I want to grab this guy, that guy. I want to grab this guy, that guy, and inset on them. I need to watch it a bit carefully, so let me just go in there, inset, and go all the way like this, make it kind of narrow. And now I will assign some lighting. Yes sir, that's what I was after. Yo, subtle details. This is what we are looking like. It's cool, no? Yeah. And the great thing is, because you applied that boolean, you can also reuse it. Like, you can just grab it and reuse it at the back. So we will do exactly, or not even necessarily the back, you can use it like in any of the other sections where you need a little bit more detail. So I will just grab it and just drag it all the way to the back here. G, I think maybe I want it over there actually. We're gonna have to align this like a lot. Let's add a boolean. Add boolean. Let's cut on this guy. Let's hide my booleans. I'll apply it even. So let's set it to the top. Apply. And now that gives me the chance to come in and add some LEDs. Select this guy. Whoa, I can't do. Oh, I can. I will. I can and I will. Let's do this. Let's select these faces. We do an inset. Oh, there is a limit. scale individual origins. Let's just scale. No, I don't like this. It might be okay. Let's see. It's not bad. Okay, next up I want to sort of add like a chrome trim over here, but I was gonna originally try and do that with just like assigning materials, but the issue is this mesh doesn't really look like something that will support, although maybe it will if I play my cards right, but it'll get messy. It might get messy. I can't really just put like a loop cut and have it sort of follow, this line. So I think I'm gonna have to do this like in a hard surface modeled way. So what I will do is just reuse this guy, right? I'm gonna reuse him. So I'm gonna not shift D because we've already applied it. We can just GX, and this is actually going to look really cool if I play it right. I'm gonna move it more and more towards the back. GX further. Don't make it too obvious though. Yeah, let's not make it too obvious. Let's do that. I want this area to be narrower, so I'll move it a little. No, I think it was good this way. I think it was good. And now I will add one more boolean. Add modifier. Boolean. I'll move this at the top. And I will use this guy. So now it cuts it, and I will apply it. So that when I come into, I can hide this now. When I come into edit mode, I can select this guy, Control L, P, selection, and now we have it as a separate object. And now on this guy, there are. Do we need this one? Yes. Do you want to leave it? Actually, that looks kind of cool. Do you want to leave it? Maybe I'll leave it. Okay, so because it's non-destructive, I'll leave it so that we can decide later if we wanna follow through on that. This is cool. I like this. However, I wish I could do another loop cut on this, yo. It sucks that I can't, you know. And look at how clean these cuts are, man. Like, despite these messy meshes that we have, like the boolean cuts are like so clean. But be wary with stuff like this. It can easily become a heavy load on your PC. But this is cool. I wanted to change this into Chrome, but honestly, I think just like on its own, it looks pretty cool. But let's also just like see what it looks like with Chrome. Oh shit, that completely changes the character, huh? I should use more Chrome trims on this. Can I make it shinier maybe? It's already pretty shiny. No, too shiny. That's too shiny. More than anything, what we need is just a world, so that the world just sort of reflects off of it. And I feel like that's a secret to Chrome. Just having a Chrome material doesn't work unless there's a world to reflect off of it. There's a world for it to reflect. Yeah. I'm so tempted to add rivets and like yeah, I don't know. We'll stop here for this one.